Hello and welcome to United and Everything Football Podcast. It's been 4 consecutive wins in the Premier League for the first time for Manchester United this season. Rasmus Hojlund has scored in 6 consecutive games, setting a new record for the youngest player to ever do that. Are we turning the corner? Erik ten Hag doesn't think so. But for some of us, we feel that the team is taking another turn given how things began at the beginning of the season. Welcome once again to another exciting edition of United and Everything Football Podcast. I'm here as usual with Kwame Intwi-Buesiako. Thanks so much for joining, Kwame. It's all smiles for us once again, given the game that we played not long ago against Lutton Town at a very difficult ground at the Kenilworth Road. How are you doing, Kwame?
I'm doing great. Of course, I'm doing great. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Always a pleasure.
Another win on the road.
Another win on the road, yes. That's our 7th away win of the season. Can you imagine that? Given that very, very bad patch that we've had. We are 4th on the away table as it stands.
Yeah. If you compare our away form to last season, I think we came out with 8 wins out of the 19 away games last season. In a season where many believe we were relatively good.
Yeah.
This season that we are awful, we are just 1 win away from equaling our away record from last season. You can't make this up. This United team is very, very hard to understand. Very hard to understand.
Very hard.
That's just the situation.
Very, very, very hard to understand. That's how this United team is. As usual, thank you for always watching. If you are watching for the first time, please remember, or if you've been watching and you've not subscribed, please remember to always hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell. As always, please remember to also share your comments, like, and share with your friends. We are going for a very quick break. When we come back, we'll delve into the issues. We'll get to know some key areas that we'll have to talk about here on United and Everything Football. We'll be right back. All right, thank you very much and welcome back to United and Everything Football. So we will delve straight into the game that we played against Lutton Town at Kenilworth Road. A very, very small park. I don't call it a stadium. I think it is a park. Very small ground. Before you could say anything, the ball has moved from one end to the other. I think it plays an advantage with which the way teams go there. A very difficult ground to control games, if you ask me, in my opinion. Before you say Jack, there are players surrounding you, trying to press you for the ball. It's very difficult to get it out and all of that. These are my observations. And it's the reason why the big teams that have been there have had it very difficult, to control games. And it's almost like a basketball game. It's just end to end. You attack, I attack, you attack, I attack. And that's how it went. But Kwame, what's your general impression of this? My personal opinion, but what's your general impression of the game?
Yeah. What you're seeing is a team that is playing every game like a final. They are determined to win at all costs. You used a very good term there, a basketball game. It doesn't matter if it has to come down to a basketball game, fire for fire. Yeah. But at the end of the day, this team is just determined to get over the line because, results are necessary at this point. There was no compromise, especially going to grounds like that. We said in the previous episode that we did not have to expect an easy game. No team has gone there and actually had an easy game. Ironically, I could tell you that we are the only big team that has gone there and actually created chances for fun. Clear-cut opportunities to bury the game that we haven't. I've seen Liverpool go there and almost lose. Arsenal had to win it at the very last minute. They could well have easily lost that game. Yeah. Spurs hang on for their dear lives after going down by a man. Yeah. City, some way, somehow, just the quality shone through at the end of the day and were able to. I think they went down by a goal. So going 2 goals up
And Liverpool had to draw.
Was a huge for
Needed
them.
a last-minute goal to draw against.
Yeah. They almost lost the game. Lost the game. So I never expected us to go there and have an easy game. In fact, we started way better than I actually expected. Way better than anybody else expected. Hojlund scored the quickest goal of any United player in Premier League history. All of a sudden, we are seeing records and all sorts of things. See, goals are like, for strikers, goals are like a drug. They just change the narrative so quickly. This guy couldn't hit a ban to save his life in the first half of the season when it came to the league.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, everything he touches turns into goals. Balls are bouncing off his chest. He's finding himself just right in the 6-yard box with a tap in. It's all just working for him right now. It's just things are just bouncing off him.
Yeah.
And he had one laid on the plate for him in the first minute of the game when one of their centre backs, that was a howler, a huge howler. He laid it onto him and then he just rounded the goalkeeper and then put the ball at the back of the net. He was the only United player today who was able to round the goalkeeper and actually score. Bruno Fernandes rounded the goalkeeper and had the ball cleared off the line. Garnacho, I don't know what Garnacho was trying to do. I don't know what he was trying to do. Dalot couldn't round the goalkeeper. So there we just missed a lot of gilt-edged opportunities. But I would say, I would rather see us creating opportunities in football games. I said this a couple of weeks ago. And waste them than not create opportunities at all. I'd rather see our forwards get opportunities and miss them than to see what we saw in the first half of the season when we don't even create chances at all. So I see this as a step in the right direction, but then there are also shortfalls.
All right.
Like you mentioned before.
All right. So right after the game, a journalist from the BBC, Simon Stone, connected to United, said something, saying that Man United got knocked out of the Champions League because they were unable to control games they established winning positions in. It's a flaw they have not sorted despite players returning from injury. And it brings into focus an area I want us to quickly touch on, where it looks as if it feeds into the basketball thing that I'm talking about. We get the ball and quickly we want to, initiate attacks. We get a ball and quickly want to initiate attacks. Last week, after the game, Erik ten Hag in his press conference said something. He made mention of the fact that the team decides to attack quickly when they get the ball. Instead of, keeping the ball for some time, drawing out the opposition, and then maybe creating a chance. Because what I saw today was a quick... there was this incessant edge to attack quickly and try to create moments, and that leads to turnovers. And when this leads to turnovers, it gives the opportunity to the opponent to also attack. And they attack.
Kwame, you sound like a broken record now. Because you said this 3, 4, 5 months ago, and we are back at the same place all over again. We all sound like a broken record. It's the story of our season. It's the story of our season.
It's so recurrent. I just don't know how we are going to deal with it.
I've come to a conclusion. It's not... The tactic is for us to play transition football, but at the end of the day, you need players with certain qualities in certain moments in the game to be able to do certain things. I feel some players simply cannot do it.
Yeah,
it's just down to that. Some players simply cannot pull it off. To be able to do what we want to do holistically over a period of 90 minutes, over a stretch of games, some players in this team can't do it. Simon Stone did make mention of the fact that we are being predisposed to certain things that did get us kicked out of the Champions League, despite players returning. That is not entirely accurate. What's happening now is our players are going back injured. We are going back to the same situation where we don't have a fully fit team. Do you know the back four we ended up with? Lindelof at left back.
Yeah.
Jones at centre back, left centre back, Varane at right centre back, and Diogo Dalot.
Yeah,
that's a makeshift centre back. That's a makeshift back four.
Yeah,
and this back four is very similar to the back four that was struggling in November and December. We've not caught a break here this season. It's just unfortunate. We've not caught a break. Harry Maguire has been praised for his performances up until now. That first half was just
It was
shambolic.
horrible.
It was
horrible.
It was horrible, and he was rightly hooked off.
Yeah,
it's obvious that Luke Shaw, we took a gamble with him. He wasn't fit for the game.
He could barely jump. I mean, he couldn't go into 50-50 tackles.
He could barely do anything.
Cover,
he just wanted to make himself available for the team.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then at what cost? Probably a longer term injury.
Yeah.
So the issues that we had with injury seems to have reared its head again. We are not getting away. The only thing that we're getting away right now is that results seem to have turned.
Yeah.
Certain things that were not going in our favor now seem to be going in our favor. All the luck that was eluding us before seems to be finding us, except for whatever happens in the injury room. That Arsenal doctor that we went to get, he has to sit down. We sack the physio, we keep sacking people. They have to figure out what the hell is happening. Because this could actually derail our season if you're not careful. It could actually derail our season.
Yeah.
When you bring on Scott McTominay into the football game,
you don't control games.
I know we are not going to control games. You see, in my head, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Halftime, I see that substitution. I know it's going to be ding dong affair.
Basketball.
And then our quality will definitely show through at one end. If we meet a team that is probably as prolific as we are, no, definitely more prolific as we are, because we've not been as prolific as we should be this season, we will be at the wrong end of a result. But so far, the teams that we've met, it's either we are on the same level or we are better than them. So when the basketball is happening, it's very much likely going to fall in our favor. I'm not going to be critical about those things anymore to the end of the season. Yeah. I've made my judgments. I have a pure understanding of the situation right now. Lindelof at left back will not give you playing out of the back and control.
That's true.
Harry Maguire and his delay and then his indecisions will not give you that.
That's true.
Varane is two-footed all right, but he's not the best passer out of the back.
Yes, that's true.
Technically, out of the back four, Diego Dalot has shown a lot of know-how in terms of how he wants to play the system that we want to play. And Lisandro Martinez, Luke Shaw. That's just about it. 3 players. The rest are technically not up there.
Yeah.
You go into midfield. Casemiro can't run. He is leggy now. He's getting older.
Yeah.
And playing him as a lone 6, it's not going to work in the long term. So we may have to look for somebody more accustomed to that position. Kobe Mainoo does a lot of work in and around him. I've seen him playing in a more withdrawn position than we saw when Casemiro came back, where he was playing an advanced position. But he's covering so much ground. He's younger than Eriksen. That is why he's able to do it.
Yeah.
If it was an Eriksen Casemiro, like as it was last season, it wasn't going to work in this system.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes is erratic. Erratic. Today was his poorest game in a long, long time. Bruno Fernandes passing and finishing is why we did not win the game by a huge margin. You know my thoughts on young Garnacho. I am not critical of young Garnacho.
Yes.
Although he grew up quickly, I have seen a young Cristiano Ronaldo be as profligate and as wasteful as that before at the same age. Yeah. I'm never going to be critical of him. He will get some right, he'll get some wrong. But Bruno Fernandes, as our leader, as our captain, that performance today is unacceptable. I was praising him for his performance against Aston Villa, only for him to turn up today and he couldn't hit a ball. He couldn't hit a pass to save his life. He couldn't. 2 or 3 gilt-edged opportunities. He should be burying this game.
Yeah.
He just couldn't finish. On the other hand, Marcus Rashford seems to be playing well, despite the fact that he's not at the end of so many opportunities. Yeah. He seems to be playing well.
Yeah.
And then Hojlund can't stop scoring. 6 goals in 6. He could be Premier League Player of the Month this season. He's head-to-head with Bukayo Saka. But then, if we win our last game and he scores a couple of goals, I think that will be a huge boost to him for the rest of the season. He scored a winning goal. This is the second winning goal he scored for us in the last few weeks. He's won us 6 points in this period of time. If he continues on this trajectory, I think he can power us to top 4. 3 points on Spurs. I told you about Spurs, Kwame.
And you know the interesting thing, when we beat Fulham over the weekend or next weekend, will be on level point with Spurs, who would also have a game in hand against Chelsea, who will be in the Carabao Cup final. That puts a lot of pressure on Spurs. And it also gives us a lot more confidence going into the next game against Manchester City. We'll be looking at that. Anyway, Kwame, let's do a quick ratings of the players and then quick one, no explanation, quick one on that. So we start with the goalkeeper, Andrew Onana.
Okay. Onana, I'd give him an 8.
Give Onana an 8.
He's saving us a lot.
All right.
He's saving us. He's making crucial saves, intercepting crucial crosses. The only problem is you may be a bit, blame him a bit for the first goal, but then I'd not put too much blame on him. I mean, he's playing well.
Diogo Dalot.
Dalot, I'd give him an 8.
Rafael Varane.
Defensively.
Rafael Varane.
Great. Rafael Varane. He won every header. I'd give him an 8.
Give him an 8. Let's look at Maguire / Johnny Evans.
I'd give Johnny Evans an 8 for what he came to do in the second half. He was brilliant. Intercepted everything, headed everything away. Maguire, straight out 4.
Straight out 4. Luke Shaw, Victor Lindelof.
Can't give Luke Shaw a score. Luke Shaw a 4. Victor Lindelof, I don't know why he's doing that left back. I'd just give him a 5 for just being there. I'd give him a 5.
Just being in there, okay. Casemiro
he could easily have been sent off and that could have changed the game. I'd give him a 4.
Kobe Mainoo.
4 Casemiro. Horrible today.
Kobe Mainoo.
8. Straight up baller.
Bruno Fernandes.
He's a baller. Baller for life. Bruno Fernandes, I'd give him a 5.
Give him a 5. Awful. That was an average performance. It wasn't a good performance at all. Marcus Rashford.
I'd give him a 7. He was good, industrious, created opportunities. Should have scored a couple himself.
Scored a couple as well. All right. Rasmus Hojlund.
10. You can't ask for more.
That was, you can't ask for more. He did everything that he could on the day. Alejandro Garnacho.
I'd give him a 6. I'm sorry. Young Garnacho today he played like a child.
He played like a child.
I'd give him a 6.
Anyway, let's end off with the news that's coming. Dan Ashworth. Well,
no, give Ten Hag a score before you move on to any other.
For that second half change,
I'd always ask you, give Ten Hag a score.
For that second half change, I'll give him a 7. I think he was very smart enough to hook off the 2 players on a yellow card. That could have been easily sent off in the game, given the way Lutton Town played. I mean, it changed the game for us. Some way, somehow. Not that it brought stability, but it lowered the pressure that was on the team and gave us a lifeline of a sort, so as to not put ourselves in a very, very bad position or a disadvantage. So I think I'll give him a 7 for that in-game management.
Fair.
All right, so let's look at the last one.
In-game management.
Let's look at the last one. So Dan Ashworth has informed Newcastle that he's ready to accept a proposal from Manchester United. Newcastle have asked him to proceed on a gardening leave and are looking for United to pay £20 million in order to, in a form of a compensation, to see out his contract or to clear out his contract and also clear out that clause that makes him proceed on a gardening leave for a year. So it's either he sits out the year, gets paid by Newcastle, and later join United 1 year later, or United find a way to find a compromise with Newcastle United. For perspective, when Ashworth was moving from Brighton to Newcastle, he faced the same problem. Brighton required that Newcastle pay $5 million. So it's just the same situation that United finds itself. But there's one big club against another one. Kwame, not one on the national.
If you want to think of Newcastle as a big club, then that's fine. But
no, I'm not saying. I'm saying one big club, United. Newcastle is in the big club for obvious reasons. We all know. But what do you make of this?
It's just a normal process, deja vu. I don't see anything here. Eddie Howe said it. The quicker they put this to bed, the better for everybody. United would have to negotiate a lower fee and come to some form of compromise.
Yeah.
And that just will be, it's just a matter of time. These things at United, everything is over-reported, everything is over-exaggerated. This is normal procedure.
Yeah.
The director wants to leave, wants to quit, he has to proceed on garden leave. No one is going to pay you 1 year to stay at home. It's just on the letter of the pink sheet.
That's it. It's on the face of the pink sheet.
This way. On the face of the pink sheet. So it's just a matter of time before I think United gets the mark. But then this will be the first test that Ineos would have when it comes to negotiating a fee for someone. So let's just see how they go about it. If they get ripped off, if United tax applies, then we'll just say to ourselves that, oh dear, here we go again.
All right, so on that note, that's how we end today's episode of United and Everything Football. We are back in the mix for the top 4. We'll see how the other weeks go. Tottenham Hotspur dropping points, Aston Villa winning narrowly at Craven Cottage. Fulham will be coming to United next week in a game which also is another final, another must-win for United. We'll be back in the course of the week.
Every game is the final, bro.
Every game is the final. We'll be back in the course of the weekend with our special guest on another exciting edition of United and Everything Football Podcast. Thanks for joining us. Remember to subscribe. Remember to like. Remember to share. Remember to hit the notification bell. We are grateful for you doing this for us every single time. We'll be back in the course of the week. Have a great time.